AI becomes that validation intelligence that makes me feel confident about my decision. AI will not replace marketers, it will replace copy paste marketers. This is the best time for small founders and who are starting out now to build their presence.
The way someone discovers your business, decides whether to trust you, buy from you, all of that is being rewritten right now.
Clicks are coming down and impressions going up. So it created that crocodile mouth effect. But now you need to impress AI and the end user. Now the search is more contextual and intent driven. Type the exact same thing into our chat GPT bots, and there's 100% guarantee that you and I will get different brand recommendations.
The way people discover products, services, and brands is changing because of the artificial intelligence. Hi everyone and welcome back to the podcast. Today topic is something where every business owner and new founder needs to understand. The way people discover products, services and brands is changing because of the artificial intelligence. For years the rule was very simple. Work on your SEO, choose the right keywords, get your ranking and people would find you. But now more people are turning to AI tools for answers and recommendations. They ask a question and AI gives them many options. So discovery starts there even before they open a search engine. So this is a very big shift for the businesses and especially for those who are just getting started. So today we have Swati with us to help us understand what is really going to happen and how founders can stay visible in this new world. Hi, Swati, welcome, and I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Radhika. It's a pleasure talking to you. And I'm so glad that you're covering this topic because a lot of people are talking about this. Consumer behavior has changed before the market could adapt. And I think that's why it's a very interesting space to be in.
Yes. So today's conversation sits right at the intersection of AI and B2B growth. So I'm joined by someone who has spent nearly 2 decades building, scaling, marketing across the companies like Disney Plus, Hotstar, MX Player, TVF, and is now shaping how brands show up in the age of AI. And as a founder of RSO, she's helping businesses get discovered inside the platforms like ChatGPT and other AI-driven search ecosystems, redefining what visibility means today. She's a builder, marketer, and someone who truly understands where the future of the growth is headed. Excited to have you here with us, Swati. So let's begin. Let's start with the basic. What did you notice that the people were discovering brands through AI tools and not just through the search engines?
So I think I've been working with a lot of brands as a consultant, helping them understand marketing channels. And through my life, I've been working more on the growth side of things, more on revenue, how to drive revenue, how to drive business growth. And organic search is a very integral GTM channel that is very important to kind of ace, because for how long can you keep pumping money into performance marketing as a channel? Even that is an important channel. All channels have their own importance, but organic is something that builds over time and has been of interest for me. For a long part, for almost like 10 years, we've been just doing search engine optimization. And then came a time when we were just doing Google optimization. It wasn't really search engine, it was Google engine optimization. But somewhere around 2023, things started changing because we started seeing, even for my clients, a lot of customers coming in from Chat GPT, doing their research and coming with questions which were really deep and very insightful. And a lot of these buyers were essentially searching on the companies that they were talking to, and they were even asking GPT, what are the questions that we need to ask so that it kind of this decision makes sense for me.
Hmm.
So across two different categories, I started noticing AI and LLM influence, and this is in 2023 end and 2024 beginning, wherein the first part was actual research and trying to get understand, for me, for contextually, for me as a startup or as an individual or as an enterprise company, what is the best product that I need to buy, right? So that awareness and discovery was happening. And the last part, the bottom of the funnel, validation, was also coming with AI. So
Hmm.
earlier, what mattered was, oh, how many reviews do you have? Now you're like, oh, should I check reviews? Should I ask my friend who's used a similar product? But then AI started becoming the validation person, or in validation intelligence is what I call it, for actually making me comfortable with my decision. So I'm the one taking the decision of buying a B2B product, or buying a SaaS tool, or buying a platform, or buying a hardware, or buying anything in general for my company, if we talk about purely B2B, because you mentioned you wanted to talk about that. AI becomes that validation intelligence that makes me feel confident about my decision, that I'm not going wrong. And it even helps me prepare that in case I go wrong with my decision, what were the reasons that I took that decision? So that eventually I safeguard myself, because that's the emotional part of the buying decision that marketers need to be prepared for. And AI was playing a very important role. It was playing the role of an influencer. And today that role has become even more important, and has become um, even more ingrained into buyers while they are buying anything and everything on the internet. So hence, this is how the shift started happening. Google, nobody wanted to click on links. If you see, we started seeing clicks going down, organic clicks going down, the impressions were going up, AI crawlers crawling websites. And there is this term that I think SEMrush or Ahrefs came up with, which said crocodile mouth effect. So the impressions in GSC is coming, sorry, the clicks are coming down and impressions going up. So it created that crocodile mouth effect, and everybody across the industry suffered through that in 2024 and 25. But the users which were now coming onto your site from direct traffic or from LLMs were high intent users. So
Mm.
getting their interest and getting them to convert was relatively easier, because they'd done a major share of their research already. So this is why the entire decision of getting into the space was very organic, because I started, like I said, customer behavior changed before the market could really adapt and understand what is really happening. So it hit you when it happened, and hence I started working on workflows early on, and the space felt like a natural pull for me organically.
Nice. And someone who is very new to this, like what does AI look at when choosing which brand or which business to show exactly?
So it depends. So AI search is not basis keywords. So earlier we did keyword research, and they were we optimized for keywords, because search engines pulled out that keyword from your search term and search query and did the research. Now the search is more contextual and intent driven. So to give you an example, if you, Radhika, and I type the exact same thing into our chat GPT bots, say maybe we want the best email marketing platform, you and I might, and there's 100% guarantee that you and I will get different brand recommendations. So if your chat GPT knows that you're someone who is running a podcast, is a solopreneur, and what are your requirements, so maybe you might be price sensitive because you're running your own setup, you're one person doing this. And in my case, it would feel, oh, this is a co-founder, she's already consulting these companies, she's probably worked on these three different platforms already. All of that context goes into that query, even if you're writing those words or not. So the words that you and I might write will might be exact same verbatim, you and I will write the same things. The context gets picked up automatically, and this is how AI search is different. So if your website in its content is answering for that context, is
Mm.
answering for that intent, then you have a chance of getting picked up by AI engines, and that's how the decision is made. The search answer is more context and intent driven, and not keyword driven. Keyword is just one element that AI considers.
Okay, nice. So, when you start talking to a founder or a small business owner, what do you feel like confuses them most about this visibility of this AI first world?
I think the confusion is around traditional SEO and what has really changed. And should I do SEO anymore or not? Because SEO had become, after a point in time, very okay, do these 5, 10 steps. Now, what do I do with these 5, 10 steps? Everybody's telling me that. All of the content on the internet is around this also.
Mm.
Agencies are still talking about it, and a lot of repackaging is happening. So founders that I see today are slightly confused on how to approach this piece and what really is different, because subject matter experts are saying if you do your traditional SEO correctly, you're sorted. But it doesn't hold true if you are a new company. So for an
Mm.
older company which already has a presence, already has a brand presence, This statement might be true, that if you do your SEO properly, you will continue to flourish in AI search. But for someone who's absolutely new, this statement is completely incorrect. Because if you approach search the way traditional search engine optimization approached, this is where you kind of falling short. So hence the confusion for founders is, basis your industry, basis your age in the market, basis your target ICP, the way you need to optimize for search now, it's not search engines, it's AI, so you optimize for search, has changed. So how it needs to change? So for some founder, if you are selling to say maybe technical folks who are building with more with AI, Claude becomes very important. For someone, if you're selling into enterprise, Copilot becomes very important, because Microsoft ecosystems are what is used by enterprise companies, and hence they would be using Copilot as their go-to AI platform. But otherwise, if you're more D2C, then ChatGPT is your go-to platform. Google Gemini is also extremely important for you, but way Gemini works is very different than Google traditional, those blue links and search results. So hence, this is your industry and how tech savvy is your end customer. The way you need to optimize and prioritize optimization changes. So this is the major confusion. How do I prioritize? What do I prioritize? And this is what I tend to solve for with the platform that I'm creating. The idea is that Reso would become your agentic employee, whom you can plug and play into your system, who would understand your individual needs and requirements, your ICP needs and requirements, and run the entire search optimization play for you for your website, because it's very personalized now.
So if search is no longer the first step, then how should a founder rethink their brand presence now?
Search is the first step. The way search is happening has changed.
Hmm.
Earlier, search was that I used to go on Google, and then I used to search, and then I used to click on 10, 15 different tabs,
Hmm.
scan the content on those landing pages, the tabs that I've opened on my browser, and make up an answer in my head. That was the process. The process has now changed to going, opening my whatever chat GPT, like I used to open Google, putting in the same query now. But now the clicking, opening, and making the answer in my head has changed to getting the answer served to me on a platter. So if your brand is present in that answer, you get discovered. If the brand is not present in the answer, you don't get discovered. You don't get a chance to even talk to the user anymore. As in, the user is not clicking on 20 different links trying to understand which brand is best for me. Which brand is best for the user? AI is already making that decision and giving to the user. So the user's set of companies that the user will consider is considerably narrowed down already by AI. So you got to impress not the users now. With search engines, you had to impress users more. Search engine was an engine searching for the user. But now you need to impress AI and the end user. So you got to optimize for two intelligences, so to say.
Wow. So like if somebody who is just starting and has zero marketing budgets, do you think that they should put their more energy into becoming visible to AI driven searches?
100% you should, because AI search, or like the traditional search engine optimization, is the long haul game. If you are someone who's serious about your business and you want to stay in this business and you see the business growing year on year, this is something that you should start yesterday. This is what we say in search optimization, because it takes time. Still,
Hmm.
it is not a game that I pump in so much money and I will immediately get the results. So how I like to compare is that it's not allopathy medicine. It does not take a drug and the fever goes down. It's not symptomatic treatment. It is actually treatment of the root cause of the problem. So it's basically dietary changes, lifestyle changes, which takes time for you to do and for the results to show up as well. So you exercise for like at least 2 months, then you start seeing the results. You exercise for a day, you don't see a result. But yes, if you pop a pill, then your fever does go down immediately. So that's the kind of difference between a search optimization GTM channel and any other GTM channel, which has more direct and I see the results immediately. So if you're a founder, if you're serious about your business, start investing in search optimization as a parallel GTM channel today, because you would want a lot of your traffic coming in directly from brand search. And brand traffic only comes in if people are discovering you on LLM search and LLMs are recommending you. That can only happen if this happens. So eventually you want your brand traffic to go up, and this now has become a very important KPI that I tell marketers and founders to track. That don't just go with how much of organic traffic is coming to your site, also see how much of brand traffic is coming to your site. If you keep your marketing, performance marketing budget stable, so if I'm spending 10 lakhs today, in this month, and I'm spending 10 lakhs in the next month, performance marketing budget is the same. How much is my brand traffic truly changing over time? If brand traffic is increasing with performance budgets staying simple, some of it will be attributed to your organic reach also going up. So brand, increasing brand mentions on LLMs, increasing traffic coming from LLMs, and your overall brand mentions going up is what founders need to watch out for as KPIs on this channel.
Okay. You mentioned somewhere the consistency, but what consistency of what exactly? Like any facts, any positioning? Where do the most founders, get this thing wrong? What exactly has to like what they have to do to maintain this consistency?
Okay. So the framework that I've designed for this is which resource built is TACT. So TACT is TACT, and that's what you need to get right. The first T stands for technically sound website. Now, when I say technically sound, it means everything that technical SEO things were important. But for AI search and AI crawlability, there are a lot of tech things that you need to have in your website to ensure that AI crawlers are able to crawl your information,
Okay.
right? So all your schema, internal linking, meta tags, descriptions, everything goes into it. There's a whole list, and every landing page should be technically optimized. And difference between having a technically optimized website or not is almost like walking into a meeting wherein somebody is very groomed, is prepared for the meeting, and another person is shabbily dressed, does not know what he's talking about. Who would you want to talk to? So AI trusts websites which are technically strong. So the first T stands for that. The second A is authority. So, authority in your space to actually create this product or create this website. Are you really the subject matter expert? Do you have the certifications in place? Are you authoritative enough to talk about this topic also? So, your content is important, and that's the C. The content consistency is the C intact, but that content consistency would matter if you are someone of authority. Why are you building this? Do you have the data compliance certificates? Can people trust you? And that is the last T, which is trustworthiness. So it's technical, authoritativeness, content consistency, and trustworthiness. So trustworthiness also comes from your existing reviews. It comes from case studies. Have you proven? Can you prove to AI, like you want to prove to users, that your content is worth being cited, your brand is worth being mentioned to users if when they are searching for a solution like yours? So the TACT framework is what you need to keep in mind while creating content, while creating your websites, and while distributing your content in order to come up in AI search.
That's nice. So, where do you even start that if you are not technical that much?
There are quite a few audit websites which offer this technical audit, but again, like I said, you need to know what are the priority things. Um, Not to hoot our own horns, but this is something that we baked into our product at Reso. So I would love for everyone who really truly wants to understand how to come up in search to sign up on Reso, our platform, and to run a free audit for yourselves. It's absolutely free of cost. We allow you to run like 30 prompts across ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini for now. And if you want to include Claude and all, that's like in the paid version. But right now, on that, you can run this absolutely free. It will one tell you what are the different brands which are coming up for those prompts, and it will also give you like a technical audit of at least your homepage, prioritizing what is important for AI search, because traditional tools are still referring to search engine prioritization that has been baked into their products. Those platforms are carrying the weight of their own legacy that they've created in search engine domain. And this is what the problem is, that the prioritization that the legacy platform gives were according to what worked with search engines, and it's completely different what works for AI engines. Also, between AI engines, you need to do a prioritization between Chat GPT, Perplexity, depending upon what is your current presence. And that's how you prioritize and decide what are the actions that I need to take now versus what I can do 2 months later. Because everyone's, for founders specifically, resources are limited. And how we allocate those resources in terms of not just monetary, but time resource, which is the most important thing, is the most important piece. And that is what Reso kind of helps you crack.
Right. Nice. That was very informative. So next thing is something rapid fire. So if you would like to play with us with the sample random questions, and you
Okay.
have to give the answer, which whatever the first thing that comes into your mind. Okay. Okay. Let's begin.
Yes.
Okay. Coffee or chaos? Which one actually starts your days?
Chaos. I have a
One.
4.5 year old, of course, chaos.
So one word to describe the current state of AI in marketing.
Scary.
Scary. Last thing you Googled versus last thing you asked an AI.
I still Google, but I prefer the AI answer.
Okay. So overrated marketing trend right now. Your hot take over it.
Comment XYZ to get the playbook. Most overrated. It has nothing. The actual meat is always hidden.
So SEO is dash, filling the blanks. Be honest.
Evolved.
Sorry?
Transformed. Evolved.
Evolve. So a founder with no social media presence, is he dead or ahead of their time?
Maybe way ahead. So dead today, way ahead, maybe for the future.
So virality or trust, which one can build one? Which
Trust.
do you pick?
Trust. Trust.
Trust. AI will replace marketers. True or false?
No, it will not replace marketers.
Okay. Best advice you have heard that immediately got ignored.
I'm sorry, what?
You best advice you heard about marketing and which you immediately ignored at first.
Upskill when I was younger. Keep upskilling, be a student always. You can never be the leader. Even a CMO is a student, which
Yes.
initially, during my initial days, I completely ignored. But now I keep telling everyone, always be a student. That's how
True.
you.
So a marketing's best practice you think is completely useless now.
Marketing best practice, which is completely useless. And I'll have to take a minute for this one.
Sure. Sure.
Making reports. Just plug in like a Claude system to it and like get automated reports. Manually making reports.
So have you ever Googled yourself
Yeah. Why not? Yes.
and ChatGPT's yourself? Which one was better?
Google. So I need to work on my ChatGPT brand presence.
Okay. Worst piece of business advice you were given?
Women, maybe, can women really build in tech? Are women good enough to build in tech? It's more of a coding is like a man's game. So yeah, something on those sides. It was a very mixed one, but it was a little sexist. So I think, yeah, that one.
Okay. Next questions. 5 questions. This or that. Okay.
Okay,
Long form content or short form content?
short form.
Short form. You
Cut
mentioned.
cut long form into shorter pieces, and it really works because attention span is zero. We live in a world wherein we want constant gratification, and long form does not gratify you. Long form people save, short form
Okay.
they consume.
So built in public or stay mysterious?
Depends on what you're building. I will not choose either.
Okay. Big audience, low trust, tiny audience, high trust.
Tiny audience, high trust. You don't build your ICP from a bigger thing to a smaller thing. You start small. You understand which is that audience that you can truly solve the problem for.
Okay. So these are some closer questions. One thing every founder should do before going to bed tonight.
Meditate.
Okay. Finish this sentence. The future of visibility is.
Future of visibility is AI, because AI will end up doing almost everything. So it's not just visibility. Overall, the future is AI.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, that winds up the rapid fire round. Okay.
Thanks.
Last question. Do you think this shift makes it harder for small business to get discovered, or does it open doors to those who are more clear and authentic?
My answer is that this is the best time for small founders and who are starting out now to build their presence, because this is like when Google started in 2000, 9, 10, and
Hmm.
where you could do like just being present, just being out there, just doing smart work gave gave you the edge that you needed. And by the time it was 2020, 2021 too, it was very difficult to kind of get ahead, get on that first landing page of Google. So this is the time when the platforms are learning, when these AI platforms are using their database to kind of learn. So if you are present now, then you become part of their database, early database, which gave them the strength to build this out. So 7 years down the lane, your business is alive, you would be that subject matter expert. So anything you say would have higher value because you would have built that trust with AI. So this is the best time. Even if you are great at it or not great at it, this is the best time to be in the field.
Wow, nice. So we started this conversation about search, but what we really think about, we are talking about is something much bigger, like how businesses earn the right to be found, understood, and trusted in the world. That is moving very fast, that most of us are expected. And the rules have changed now, the platforms have changed, the way someone discovers your business, decides whether to trust you, choose to buy from you, all of that is being rewritten right now. And as a founder who understands that early are the ones who will build something that will going to last, right?
Yes, 100%. You've summed it up amazingly well. Just to add one last thought, that AI will not replace marketers, it will replace copy paste marketers. It will replace folks who are doing the research and liking something and picking it up from there. Or because everybody has Chat GPT and Perplexity. So if you are doing that, every other marketer can do that. So the marketers who will stay are the ones who think uniquely, who bring in their experience and strategy to the table, because that is what AI cannot do. It is
Hmm.
learning your experiences, your strategy, your uniqueness in terms of creativity in understanding the emotional aspect of buying decision. AI has no understanding of it, and AI cannot, because the emotional understanding of the buying decision always happens in the emotional side and the transactional side of it. AI understands the transactional side, and the transactional side can be researched by all marketers because everybody has access to Chat GPT, Cloud, Perplexity, and any new AI which will come up in the future. But the emotional aspect of buying, that marketers have to tap into to make that sale, that only human beings can bring to the table. And that's a good marketer's edge, and these are the marketers who will flourish and stay on top.
Swati, so much. Thank you so much. Like, not just for your expertise, but also for the way that you have made this accessible to someone who is just starting out and intimidating to no one. That is a very rare thing. And to everyone listening, whether you are a founder, marketer, creator, or someone who just want to understand where the world is going, this is your moment to get ahead of it. And you do not need a big budget. You do not need a big team. You just need a clarity about who you are and consistency in how you show up and the patience to build trust over time. And that is it. That is the whole game, right?
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much, Swati, again for spending this time with us. And and I will be very helpful if you guys listening to it will share this episode with a founder who needs to hear it. And we will see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.